Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome to Live Wax with Christian McBride. Fresh back from Labor Day. I hope you enjoyed your Labor Day weekend. Considering this pandemic is still going on, I can't imagine your Labor Day weekend was any different than the weekend before. Just had to send less emails and text and Zoom chats on Monday. But nevertheless, I hope you all enjoyed your Labor Day weekend. First things first, I want all of us to give a big 90th birthday salute to the great Sonny Rollins. Yeah! Sonny Rollins, who is just the titan of all titans, celebrated his 90th birthday on Sunday, I believe. Was it Sunday? Yes. No. Monday. Yesterday. Right? I don't know. Yesterday. I don't know. Whatever day it was. Just give him his props. And I also want to give a shout out to my main man. He's probably been in every band I've had since 1999, and that's the great saxophonist Ron Blake. Ron Blake, I won't give his age. He is not 90, but he is somewhere in between 50 and 90. So happy birthday to my main man, Ron Blake, as well. And I'm a lot of stuff going on. Did you all read Giovanni Russinello's article in the New York Times about jazz education and young black people getting into the music? It was quite provocative. Quite provocative. Check it out. Check out Gio's article when you get a moment. And a lot of musicians got this is one of those articles that there was really 360. Some were like, feelings all across the board. So I'm looking forward to the follow-up on that, whatever that may be. But yeah, check out Gio's article, and another one that came out today on jazz and the pandemic, and how how many clubs and venues are really having to deal with this with these unprecedented times. So check it out when you get a moment. New York Times, and all kinds of stuff happening. My guest tonight, I'm very excited to have Ledisi on with me tonight for Live Wax. I have to tell you a story about how we first met, because she is just the greatest. Not only is she a wonderful, wonderful vocalist, but she is pure light. Every time there's only a few people that come into a room and they instantly light up the place. You didn't really see them come in, but it's like, oh, the energy in the room is different. Like, I feel like smiling, and Ledisi does that. But I want to tell you how we first met. Yoshi's out in San Francisco, Oakland rather. I'm sorry. I'm just realizing what a theme Oakland and the Bay Area has been on a lot of these Live Wax chats over the last few weeks. A lot of Bay Area on the show. So shout out to all my friends up in the Bay. Y'all got some special stuff going on up there. But yeah, for many, many years, I played Yoshi's in Oakland, and the guy who used to book Yoshi's at that time, his name is Peter Williams. I come to Yoshi's maybe twice a year, and I would say somewhere around 1996, 97, somewhere in the late 90s, Peter said, hey, you have to meet Ledisi. I said, who is Ledisi? He said, man, Ledisi is this killing singer here in the Bay, and she's just tearing it up. You guys have to meet. You guys have to meet. Now, all the years I knew Peter, he never said that about anybody. I was like, all right, I'll meet Ledisi next time I come to town 6-7 months later. You met Ledisi yet? No, I haven't met Ledisi. Come on, man. Y'all got to hook up. Y'all got to make some music together. Okay, all right, right. Hook it up. And so when we finally met, just when you meet somebody, they cool and you're gonna be friends, and it's the vibe is there right away. Well, it's like that with her, and that was just over 20 years ago when we finally met, and we still haven't had a chance to record together yet, but that's going to be dealt with very, very soon, and I mean very soon. She had me on her podcast last year, and we got into some stuff, man. I've done a lot of interviews with a lot of different people, but she got to the bottom of the peanut butter jar. She had me talking mess, boy. So I love this woman. Her new release is The Wild Card, and it is smoking. Please welcome, everybody, Ledisi. Drum roll, please. Yo!
What's up, friend?
How are you?
Good to see you. Look at your face. I haven't seen your face.
Look at your face.
Well, I had to be
smiling.
Cool for you.
No, stop it.
You look great.
How's you
family?
Do too. Everybody's doing all right. Everybody's
good.
doing all right. And yourself?
Oh, we're great. We're great. We're making it work, In this confinement, you have to make it work,
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you too, my friend.
Oh, I miss you. I miss you so much.
Too.
Our chats, we have so much fun. So much fun. And we get to do this like this. I love it.
I'm telling you.
Now I'm on the spot.
Yeah, now we get to reverse the chairs.
I know. I'm hot. I'm sweating. Let me find something though. I'm nervous now. I'm like, uh-oh.
No, you ain't nervous. Nervous.
We had so much fun on my podcast. We were talking like just regular. It was so great and no stress. And you really gave up the tea.
Well, because you asked such wonderful questions that really made me get into something, and I loved how we got into, we were talking about pure art, music,
music, all music.
What it means to be a musician. How did we get to where we are? And, and that, even though I know the answers to this already, I'm going to ask you the same question.
Yeah, I'm here.
So take us all the way back. I know we never discussed birthdays before. You're a Pisces, right?
No, I'm an Aries, March 28th, right before Sarah Vaughan.
Got it.
Around Shaka, Mariah, Diana Ross, all the greats.
Got it. Yes, well, makes sense. Now, I know a lot of people, certainly I did, and a lot of my contemporaries, we came to know you when you were living in the Bay Area.
Yes.
But you have New Orleans roots.
Yes, I'm originally from New Orleans, but I left when I was 10. So I was pretty much raised in Oakland, but I claim both because I got to Oakland and it was completely different. I didn't quite fit in, but I made my way in. But yeah, I had this thick Southern accent from New Orleans and saying hi to everybody. They don't say hi everywhere.
Right. That's right.
So
you say hi to people up in the north. They like, what you want?
I don't know you like that. So in New Orleans, we say hello, hey, to everybody. So we're very overly polite. But even if you don't like us, we're going to be nice.
Right.
And move along.
Yeah, moving along. That's right. Now, how did you find singing, or how did singing find you? One or the other,
my mother and my stepfather had a band, and they would rehearse. We had a shotgun house in New Orleans, and the living room, bedroom, bathroom, kitchen,
straight back,
the whole house, all the way like that.
That's right, straight back. Yep.
The band would record to an 8-track in the living room, and we had a drum set, which is where I started on the drums because my stepfather played drums, so I loved the drums so much. And I would go to sleep to the drums when I was a baby, and he would have me on his back while he rehearsed and practiced. And my mom sang, she was the leader of the band. So her band would record in the living room. And in my bedroom was where my mom would be with the door closed. And I would lay on the bed and watch her record her vocals. So when I heard those vocals come back on the tape, I was like, I want to do
Wow.
this, you know.
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to be a singer. And when I heard, saw her live perform at our park across the street from our home, she had an outdoor festival. You know, New Orleans always, we quick to break out a festival somewhere
That's
on the
right.
block, a block party somewhere. And that's where I first saw my mom perform. And I just saw how she moved the crowd. She was my Michael Jackson, you know. So for me, watching her is where I wanted to be. Oh, I want to be like my mom. And then I saw Michael and I was like, yeah, I want to do this for real. You know what I mean? So it was that's what got the bug. And then I learned about my dad, my real father, years later, the great Larry Sanders. He's a soul singer. But I found his music when I was touring in Europe, right after I'd finished two independent records independently in the late 2000s is where I finally saw my father's music first before I met him, and then
Is that
eventually,
right?
yeah, eventually, some fans of mine told me about my dad because I kept asking around, does anybody know about Larry Sanders? And they showed me the Prophet of Soul, and as a gift, they gave me all his
Wow.
music, and then I came home and asked mom about him, and she told me all the stories, and she said, yeah, I was there when your
And you
dad
were already
recorded.
touring,
Yeah, I was
grown woman
already
by then.
grown and I didn't know
Wow.
anything about my dad. So I found him and we talked. He was in Mobile, Alabama. He passed away years ago, about 5 years ago now. And
Mm.
we got to reconnect and I found out all the where these chubby cheeks come from and you know what I mean? Where this voice, you know, my mom, I knew I had my mom's voice, but this high soprano, but I didn't know where all these soulful lower range because my
Right.
dad sings high. He sounded like
Was he like Eddie Kendricks or Russell
no,
Tompkins or like one?
like the producer who did all of Aretha Franklin's Sparkle. What is huge producer? Oh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank.
Who? I
Soul
mean, what?
singer. He was hit by a light. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh,
What he
Curtis
did.
Mayfield.
Curtis
Curtis Mayfield. Yeah, yeah,
Mayfield.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the kind of style my dad had with Marvin
I got it.
Gaye mixed together.
Right, right, right,
Yeah, so
right.
he had a high false soprano. So that's, I mean, a tenor, falsetto that was ridiculous. If you listen to
Yeah,
his recordings, I was like, oh, okay, now I know where the magic come from. And
yeah,
both my parents wrote a real popular song that was stolen from them. So, you know, my mom taught me about copyrights at 9.
yeah,
And I was trying to
yeah,
understand why she was so, you know, once she knew I was in it, she was just like, okay, I'm gonna teach you about business right away.
yeah, yeah.
So
Dig it.
yeah, that's where I get all that soul singing from. But she
Now,
listened to Patsy Cline and like I told you, Patsy Cline and Willie Nelson. And while my stepdad listened to funk, she liked all the classical and the folk music. You know, being from New Orleans, we listened to everything.
that's so
Jazz.
awesome.
It wasn't just one style.
Yeah, I'm talking. I love that. You know, you got James Brown, Patsy Cline, Diana Ross, Sarah Vaughan, Willie Nelson, all on the same turntable.
All
That's what
in
I'm talking about.
it.
Now, now see when we finally met, when I got to see you perform live, when you came to Aspen when I was doing the summer program out there, um, I knew this voice of yours it was so powerful, but came out of you so easily. You know what I mean? But then my respect and my admiration for you shot past the moon when I saw you on the road with the Basie band.
Yeah.
Now, how did you build up your jazz chops? When did you want to start learning how to sing jazz? Was that part of all of the
Well,
thing in the early
well,
years too?
when we're 8 or 9, we learn about Fats Domino and all the great jazz players, you know, early in New Orleans. But where I really developed it was my love for Thelonious Monk and
Ooh, come on now.
my love for Miles Davis came even later. But I when I got Miles, I was grown by then. I was a little bit
Right.
grown. I was like, ow, you know. But really, my teacher, Frank Samarias, he was a professor at San Jose State. But I found him at Chabot College and I came right out of high school. I was the first singer in my high school to sing with the jazz band in our high school because I love Billie Holiday's story with Diana Ross so much.
Right.
I thought, well, maybe let me try it and see if this teacher will let me sing a couple of songs with the orchestra. This is me venturing out from gospel choir, you know what I mean? And pop
Right.
choir, learning all this other music. But I wanted to sing like the Billie Holiday story. And that's what kind of caught me. I was the first student to want to sing with the jazz band, and I started learning about that. But then when I went to college, it was Frank Samaras who said you could be one of the greats if you really studied and come and play with the big band orchestra. And there's where I
Yeah.
met like all the cats that are now producers, and like Greg Fields was one of the players for his
Sure.
students as well, and would perform in all the jazz competitions. And I would get up there and sing "Being Green," and had to learn how to scat, and but he made me listen to instrumentalists. It wasn't singers. I still don't know how to do Ella. It's just a whole nother thing with Ella, you know, but my thing was listening to musicians. So I would listen to Bird, Monk, and I loved, oh gosh, guitarist, the trombone player. I always forget his name, always. But anyway, Bill Evans, and just a lot of musicians is what I would listen to all the time
Now
to learn
see,
my scat chops.
this is we had this discussion in St. Lucia, but you learning all of the instrumental stuff, I feel like my playing, or at least my understanding of this music, didn't get to that next level and start until I started paying attention to singers. Because
Really?
as instrumentalists, I'm playing jam sessions all the time, and cats would call these tunes, and you kind of play like the same tunes in a lot of these jam sessions. And after a while, you feel like you're getting, they're getting old, they're getting stale. But
Mm-hmm.
then I started, when I got to know Ray Brown. Ray Brown
Oh,
said, "Man, you need to start listening to some singers if you really want to deeply understand these standards."
wow.
And so I started listening to Ella Fitzgerald. I started listening to Nat King Cole. I mean, I already knew they were great,
Yeah.
but I didn't really go down the rabbit hole. And Frank Sinatra. And then
Oh,
all of a
Frank?
sudden, these so-called
Yeah.
tired old standards
Became something
came to
different.
life.
Yeah.
You know, so it's great that that's great that you listen to the instrumentalists and I listen to the vocalists. So now I
I
actually know lyrics.
I had to listen to the singers later. He wanted me to develop my own sound with the scatting so that I can find my own way with
Right.
the melody, because he was kept driving that the melody is so important and what it means. And our first song together was Little Girl Blue. And then he
Ooh.
made me study the instrumental of it, and then he made me study all the versions that every singer has sang. And the one
Wow.
that resonated the most for me was the Nina version, because it felt black.
Yes.
It
Yes.
felt
Yes, indeed.
like I felt, always being on the outside and not fitting
Yep.
in. So it
Yep.
just, my heart, I didn't understand the song when he first gave it to me. I was like, what is he talking about? He said, I think one day you're going to really understand this song. And he
That's
was not
awesome.
lying. So that was our first song he taught me, was that, and Being Green. It's not that easy
Easy being
being
green.
green.
Yeah,
That was so much fun.
I had the Kermit 45 of that.
You did? But I saw it when it was my first movie. I didn't know it was going to be in the movie with the Muppet Show, and he
Right,
sang it
right,
there
right.
too
Yeah, that's right. That's
when I
right.
was little. But yeah, the big band, when I hooked up with Count Basie, I got my butt whooped. It's like they were not playing with me. They were like, "Listen, little girl, you're gonna get this, but don't be clowning around." So you get ran over if you don't know those parts. So I learned everything. They really, at by the end, they just loved me. They called me
Yeah,
all the time. They say, "Yeah, you kid, you got it. You got it. You
you
got
sure
this."
do.
And when you
You
get
damn
that
sure do.
nod from the legends, a band like that, it's huge for me.
Yeah,
It felt good. We went to Japan. We went to New York.
yeah.
We did Yoshi's New Year's Eve for NPR. That was fun. We had a blast. I can't wait to work with them
Wow.
again.
Now, you talk about they put you, they were rough on you, they put you through it, but when it was over, you were all the better for it. And they loved you, because
Yeah.
you dealt with it.
Oh, yeah.
They threw
I
you
wasn't quitting.
fastballs, curveballs. Now, I want to ask you something. There was a thing recently, excuse me, on I did this interview where I was telling a story about playing a jam session many years ago, and the legendary saxophonist George Coleman showed up, and I told the
Wow.
story about how George, uh, you know, his tendency was he liked to call obscure songs and like to call them like a real fast tempos
Yeah.
and obscure keys. The sole purpose of it was to stump you, right?
Yeah. 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 They do
And
that to make sure you're in it.
right, that's right. And so what he did to me when he sat in, I if I'm Big George, I'm thinking, okay, I've been hearing all about this kid Christian McBride. I'm a really test him, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he came up and he started playing the solo, and it turns out he was actually just playing a certain a chord progression. He was just playing four chords, not a song. Now I'm not sure how I was supposed to hear that, you know.
Right. I was gonna
And
ask, how did you hear?
I didn't, right? And so I said in this interview, like, I was so embarrassed, right? And I was, but I wasn't angry at George for being like, like putting me on the spot like that, right?
Yeah.
And so like all of the comments under this YouTube clip was like, you know, oh, what a horrible thing he did. That was so mean spirited of him to do to you. Why,
Oh.
why do people put people on the spot like that? It's not about embarrassing them and making you feel bad. And I'm going, whoa. Y'all are taking this out of context. That's not
Yeah.
why I told this story.
Right. Right. Right.
So I wanted to ask you, like, you and I have been in these situations where tough love gets us to that next level. And the person that was giving you that tough love then puts their arm around you and say, hey, I just wanted to make sure you were serious.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Can we still do that now?
I think they're so sensitive now they might fall apart. They could not handle. I'm gonna be honest, they could not handle what we've gone through. But what we got, they just threw us in.
Right,
Like
right.
now we can say, listen, the world is out there and you're here in this world with me. I'm going to
Yeah.
give you the real deal before the world gets you. We have to
Yes,
give a warning ahead of time to our students to let them know when I'm beating you up, it's a good thing. It means I'm interested in your
that's right.
talent so much that I want you to have the right armor when you go back out in the world, because they don't care that you are still learning or
Yeah.
that you're
That's
gonna
right.
keep growing.
That's
They
right.
don't care that you don't know. You're supposed to know to them. So
If
let
you're on
me
this stage with me, you're supposed to
listen.
know.
If you're standing next to Ledisi or Christian McBride anywhere,
Yep.
consider it a blessing that our light is on you, because that means we're invested all the
Yeah,
way. To
that's
me,
right. That's right.
that's how I feel. Like when I see someone I really care about, I'm taking the time to go, hey, let me pour into you, because the world won't pour into you. They don't give you anything. They just want to
Yeah.
take. And it's not their fault. That's
Yeah.
what our mission is as creatives, is to give more inspiration to the world. We're
Right.
supposed to
Right.
paint the sonic art, and they're going to cut it up, and they're going to make their opinion, and they're going to do what they do. And we just got to walk away and let it be Basquiat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Right.
let it be whatever art it is, and
Yeah,
that's it.
that's right. That's
And
right.
but a lot of the kids now aren't prepared for that because they don't have the right teachers. Their teachers are Instagram and quick fixes. But if they had time to sit with you and I that have been studied and beat up by the greats, because the greats have always told me that was good, but you could have done better.
Right. That's right.
Even
That's right.
today, like Patty's like, have your nails done, you know. She would be on me. I'm like, how did I do? She's like, that was fine, but you could do better. Now have
Yep.
it. Even Prince, when he said it to me, he would just say, I want you to do this. There was never a compliment until way later. Like when the
Yeah.
world
Right.
finally got
That's
you,
right. That's right.
that's when they give you a compliment. Okay, the world finally gets you. And they may never. Just consider the light on you is a blessing. That means
Yes.
they
That's
love you. But
absolutely
I
right.
don't
I
think
mean,
they're prepared now, though. They
yeah.
get squashed now because we're all overly sensitive to
Yeah.
every little thing now. But to me, but if you're walking into my classroom or learning from me, I say it in the beginning. Here's the beginning. It's safe here, but I'm not
Right.
going to be fake with you. I'm going to give
Right.
you,
Right.
I
If
want
you
you to
not
have the
sound good,
best
I'm not going to tell you you sound good.
and sing.
That's right. That's right. There you go. There
You
you
have
go.
to give it like it is, you know? You got to
Yeah.
give it like it is. They gave it to us, you know, but just give a little talk in the beginning and then,
That's right. That's right. That's
but
right.
they're not
You,
ready. They're
I,
not
I,
ready.
once we're off of this, I got to tell you a story about when I was teaching at the Brubeck Institute about around the time that we met. You'll love the story, but
Really? Oh man.
it's not
It's
Instagram
not for
live
everybody.
appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, we need to listen because
I
you
had to
have
pull a couple of
stories.
students in my office and be like, "Let me tell y'all something."
Listen, I've been that sensitive student that's cried and
Yeah,
everything, but the teacher was so invested, they pulled me aside and said, "Hey,
yeah, yeah,
you could be." Even my vocal teacher in classical music, it wasn't my thing, you know, but I learned classical because I loved it. My mom loved it, but my teacher was so mean that I wanted to walk away. But she told me, you could be Leontine, you could be, if you really focus, you could be that next one. Why won't you
yeah,
focus? But I had learned
yeah.
about Tremaine Hawkins and all the gospel singers. I was losing it.
Lad, you got so much knowledge in that head of yours, man. It's crazy,
But it's all
man.
good. I love that we get to do this, Christian. Like and that we met so many people
Yeah.
that made us tough. We're like, I wouldn't
Hello.
change it. Because Diane
Now,
Reeves, another one, she was like, you better get this.
that's right. That's right. That's right. Man, Ledisi, you are so deep, man. But there's another facet to your career that that is fascinating to me. Um, we spoke about Linda Twine, and
Linda Twine. I
and
love
so
her.
you have like some Broadway theater cred as
Yes.
well. Where'd that come from?
Well, because I was about to quit the music business. I was meaning being a recording artist. I was tired because they kept saying, you know, there were issues with colorism and not fitting in and having a look and things like that in our industry. It's still that way. So
Yeah,
I said, well, I'll just hide out in musical theater because I know that very well. And I've been doing it since high school and out of high school, doing Beach Blanket Babylon in San Francisco. So then I was going to quit. I quit Beach Blanket and said, well, before I quit, I went to go and visit New York City. And I was deciding what to do, whether I was going to leave to New York or not. And the first person I'm introduced to, because I was sleeping on a friend's floor, Richard E. Waits, he introduced me to Linda Twine. And she said, hey, baby, I don't know who Linda Twine is. I don't know nothing about Miss Twine.
yeah.
I just know this tall lady, beautiful skin, looked like she reminded me of Lena Horne, the way
Right, right.
her presence was.
Well, that's
And
how
then
I became familiar with her.
come to find out, she's been working with Linda Twine. She did The Wiz. She
That's
did
right.
all these great Black musicals. She's a
That's
legend,
right.
but I
That's
don't know
right.
that. So she said, baby, I heard you can sing. Sing something for me. So I started singing, hey, you know, doing all this stuff. She said, now that was good. Now I want you to come back tomorrow and meet me at this place and be on time. Be on time, okay? And I said, okay, Miss Twine, I'll be on time. And I didn't know what she was having me meet for, but next thing you know, I go to meet her the next day, and I sing for Jeannie Tesori, who's this huge composer for Broadway. At the time, she was doing Caroline or Change. George C. Wolfe was directing it.
Right.
Guess who sang for her and then ended up getting the job? Miss Twine's like, Jeannie was like, oh, that's great. She spoke to Miss Twine. They walked away, and then Miss Twine came up to me and said, come on, let's have lunch. Now, when can you move to New York?
Wow. Wow.
Really? So I'm just going to move to New York? Yes, 3 months later, I'm in New York because of Miss Twine. I'm on Broadway as an understudy for the washing machine and the radio, Caroline or Change. And then I'm doing the workshop of that is now known as The Color Purple. And I was
Yes.
offered a role for it, but I didn't stay because it was like, do I do music? My recording deal came in, or do I go on Broadway and figure it out? So I decided to
Man.
go and become a recording artist again and finish what I started. You know what I mean? Instead of escaping to Broadway. But I always loved Broadway. And Miss Twine was the first person. She if I stayed, she would have had me in every play she was involved in, because I
Man.
smashed everything. And they
I know
knew
you
who
did.
I was, but I didn't know who they were. It was crazy.
Hey, you know now.
I do now. I love Broadway. It's one of the, you have to, and I was able to be on stage too. And but I was learning about discipline and consistency. And I was
Yes.
learning about the how to develop characters or be character and be able to switch and change. I have that talent and I didn't know that, but Broadway taught me that. And
Yeah.
so that's one of my favorite uh, stories is Miss Linda Twine being. I always get to meet the legends into something else. It's just
Yeah.
been, God has blessed me. I'm honored, really honored.
Surely has, lad. But
Yeah,
you
I
know,
can't
you are,
complain.
this kind of brings me all the way back to the thing I said about you. Um, you there are only a few people, I believe, that have that light, that
Mm.
effervescence, that they walk into a room and right away you feel better. You didn't even know they walked in, but you just
No,
all of a sudden like, it's like, why is the vibe so much nicer in here
but
now?
that's how I feel about you.
Well, I mean, well, thank you, my
You're
friend.
few jazz musicians are very kind. You're always like, ooh. Usually jazz musicians are like, yeah, they're ready to work and get on home. You're like, oh man, we're lucky we get to do this again.
Oh, hey, yeah, absolutely, man. There's so much we can, we're perpetual students, you know what I mean? And to be a student, you got to be humble, you know?
And when I
And
saw the first place I go is I'm a musician groupie, like, oh my God. And you always work with all the best. So I'm like, I can't wait.
well, when we finally had a chance to do that set together in St. Lucia,
Man,
that was so hot. It was killing. And then
people,
you
I
came,
wish people saw that.
I know,
Oh,
right? In this era of everybody catching everything on iPhones, you mean to tell me wasn't one
not
iPhone in the
one
place that night?
person.
Come on, man.
We went there. It went to a place that you visited some people on. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? It
That's
was
right.
so beautiful. And I got to use all my jazz chops and we
Yeah.
traded and oh,
And
it
you
was
and you
heavenly.
killed it. I'm gonna tell you something else specifically I remember about that night. And also when you came and did our fundraiser for Jazz House Kids last year. Thank you so much.
So anything for the babies, I'm there for you. That was so much fun.
But I was checking out the way that you work the microphone. I remember, no, seriously, because I remember we had a student in Aspen quite some time ago, and she had this tendency to always have the microphone like here.
I
No,
cannot
no, no
stand
matter what,
that.
no matter what she was singing, the mic was always here.
I
And
can't see your face.
I was like, my friend, can you pull it down a little bit, so we can see you,
All these
and
pretty teeth. Child, you gonna see these teeth.
dig it.
You gotta show them teeth. They need to see all of
That's
them.
right. That's right now. I feel
Yeah,
you on that.
I love the microphone, but I watched Diane Reeves, I watched Shaka Khan, I watched the way Sarah and Ella moved the mic, and even
Nancy
when they had it
Wilson.
on, Nancy Wilson was
Yeah.
great when she get
Yep.
those, and she used it like a dance. Nancy
That's
would
right.
always do that dramatic,
Yep.
and then catch
Yeah.
the note back around.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that mug stay. And I tell people all the time, move when we have our classes. I'm like, move that mic with you everywhere it goes, but let me see that face. As long as
That's
that
right.
face is still right there. But Nancy would,
That's
it would
right.
be a
That's right.
one or something. But that's a part of studying though,
Yeah.
Christian. Like how you study your bass, singers should start studying that mic. R&B singers do that a lot too. They do a lot of this and
Right.
this. But I'm not your average R&B soul singer. I
No,
sing.
no, you are not.
I studied, so I want you to see, get all his face. You know,
Right.
in that picture. That picture might come up. That classic vintage. When you see Sarah and Ella, when they're singing, you see their whole face.
That's
and their
right.
emotion
That's right. And
behind.
oftentimes the microphone is like
All the way down here.
10, 11 inches away from their face. You know?
Because that note is so big. The notes are so big.
Right.
And they didn't have a lot of microphones. They're kind of like opera singers too, where they didn't have mics.
Right.
So we had to project our notes out, and we didn't have our mic. What's that?
You mean you had to use your body?
What? Look.
Right.
Like what?
Yeah.
What?
Same thing with bass players. Like, you mean they didn't have no amps? Like, no, they did not. They had to get it from here.
You know the fingers have to go. That's why I love you, because when you play, it's a rumble, honey. You're going to feel because no matter what you play, classical, jazz, funk, you're going to feel it. That's what, and the bass was the drums. So you had even more work to do. With jazz, it's like we had to feel that bass moving to get our notes. Woo, we could go all day. You know, you and I.
Man, I cannot wait till we.
You're my favorite. When we get in the studio,
it's a wrap when we get in the studio. I have a feeling we might get about 3 or 4 albums worth of material in.
Because we've been waiting for years in so many genres. Because when I heard you were introduced to me. Like I told you when you did the Questlove album, when you guys were together.
The
Philadelphia Experiment. When because I knew you only as just jazz, and I was like, man, he's killing this. But I would love to hear him venture somewhere else too. And when I heard that album, I said, and then you told me you already started there. I said, well, that's why. I just passed out on my podcast. You were like, I already been there. That's how I started. And I just said, oh my God. So you basically just learned every part of the bass that exists. Like any part, you're going to get the job. That's what I tell people. Get the job. Learn all of it. Because you can go from classical to jazz to funk, and you played with everybody, and you told me about your history on the podcast. That's when I was like, now it all makes sense, because we could never have time to talk about that. So
well, you know, you and I,
we are really. You had me like. I said, wait, I thought he did jazz. I thought he did. I thought you were there. No, sir, you had other things for us.
Man, I'm telling you, I cannot. Let's get this pandemic over so we can get together and play, man.
Because we were supposed to record, we were supposed to hang. It's been a while, but it's gonna happen.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
Hey, you're the greatest.
Oh my God.
Tell us about your new piece that just dropped.
I keep forgetting I have a new album. Yes, I have the Wild Card out now. It is a combination of soul music in all kind of forms that I love, from the 70s, the 90s, to a little bit of jazz. Of course, I have to keep my influence in there. There's a song called "What Kind of Love Is That?" I wanted you to play on that so bad. But we did it live and at one whole day and knocked it out, and it was beautiful. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But I love the album. It's everything I love about music all over. Because to me, soul music isn't just a genre. It's all the genres I love all jumbled up together. It's Ledisi. I'm the wild card. I'm not one way. And I wanted people to understand that very clearly from here on out. You don't know what to expect with me. Let me just create music. And I want to exist for the rest of my life just creating, whether it be on the jazz side or the funk side or the all soul side, whatever it is. But I will always keep my influences in my music. Ella did it live all the time, but when she recorded, she did what she had to do. But live, she did all of it. Country, and she could sing all the styles that
Sarah Vaughan
love.
too.
Sarah Vaughan too. It's like like I love that Miles took a risk and went away from his classic sound to try something new. People still beating him up. He's gone now. We're still wanting him to do more. Mad at him for that. but it created a whole nother sound that my generation can lean
Right.
on to create what we create. And whether you agree with it or not, it's art. It's our
Yeah.
version of soul, our version of jazz, our version of music. So
Yes.
allow it to exist. And I've been fighting that for I'm going to keep fighting to be able to collaborate with artists like you who do everything and just my hybrid.
And
You know what
I
I
really
mean?
feel that's the best way to do it. To stay as curious as you are, and have that passion to work with people all across the board.
Yeah,
It's
but
it's all music.
it's so hard when you have this box you have to sell to all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's hard when people want to keep you out of their part of the music and
Yeah.
you're not allowed. That's what I've been hearing in jazz for so long. And I'm like, you have no idea I'm allowed. They coming through
Yeah.
me.
That's right. That's right. Hello.
I'm way more than allowed. I'm supposed to be here.
that's, that's right. That's right. This is 2020. Please, you know how much music has been made in our lifetime and before. Can't just
They
stay
didn't
in one
create that.
bag.
They didn't create that for us to stay right and do
That's
another
right.
Sarah, another Ella. No, there's never going to be another. You can compare so many. I am so sick of people using the Billy sound. It's killing me. I'm gonna be honest with you. You are not Billie Holiday.
That's the
There's
default
only
sound.
one.
That's right. That is the default go-to sound for.
Every year, it's
Yeah.
a Billie Holiday once a year. I promise you. There's a new Billie Holiday. There's only
Yeah.
one. There's only
Yeah.
one. And
Yeah.
the one I love is the one we had. And she
That's right.
created a sound that everybody gravitates towards. It even in pop,
Yeah.
in R&B, soul, Billie is all through it. I swear to
Yes.
you. We
Yes,
love her.
indeed.
We people, I want to be Billie too. I want to know where you are. Leave her alone. Then we got Sarah. Leave her alone too. Just be you. Find your own sound. I'm tired, Christian. I'm tired. I can't cover it. I can't cover it no more. Okay, leave all of them alone.
I love it.
Find your own sound. Like I'm not Shaka, but I know how I got Shaka things going on. But I'm all of them. But I have Ledisi's sound. Find your own sound. Please don't be another Billie. We tired. We tired. It's once a year. Once a year.
You do too much studying and too much listening, and you take music too seriously. See, that's your problem.
Serious. Power to the people.
See, you're not interested. You're not interested in selling no records.
No. Them days gone. Look, we got enough twerking going on and enough of that.
Wait a minute now. We ain't going there.
No, but I'm just tired. It's always a vibe, and it's the vibe, and I get it. But please pay attention to them notes and the songwriting that somebody took time to write. That's expensive thought processing that we had to do to create these melodies. Can we have?
Hey,
Christian.
Y'all better listen to Professor Ledisi. In fact, wait a minute. You talk about do you teach? Where do you teach?
You know, I when I wasn't recording, I was a teacher, and I would grab fun instruments and bring them to preschool and teaching kids about hip hop and all that stuff. Then I did jazz camps, and I used to do that all the time. It's just the time to do it. I should start doing it now that we're not working, but I'm trying to figure that out. I love teaching. It was my favorite thing. I was partial Oprah and partial Nina Simone. I just scared people too much.
I would love to be in your classroom at any time.
You think I should come back and start doing a master class or something?
Here's the thing. Every single time you open your mouth, you teach. And that's the truth.
You're right.
That's the honest to God truth.
I try, but I'm still learning, Christian. I'm not perfect.
I
can't wait to keep learning. I just want to have fun at this, and if it gets too dark, I'm out. You know what I mean?
I hear you. But you got too much light for it to get dark.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know that. Those days are gone.
We love you for that.
I love you, man. I miss
you're the
you.
best.
I miss your wife and hanging out. God, we have fun.
Man. I know. We all gonna get together soon.
My husband told me to tell you hi too.
Yeah,
I forgot.
where's your boo?
He's upstairs on the computer being a nerd. He's editing like 3 videos. You know, I got him working. It's a new album. We gotta have stuff done. You know what it is, Christian. Come on.
You told say get up there and get the editing them videos.
But I miss you. I love that you're doing this for Newport Jazz Festival. It's one of my favorite festivals. I did it one year and it was a blast, man. I didn't even know.
When you came, you sang a couple of sets, right? You just do.
I did like JVC with Newport. They were partnering.
Right.
At that time, yeah. One of my favorite ones is this version I did of Portuguese Say Love mixed with my song Feeling Orange but Sometimes Blue. It's like 8 minutes long at the Newport Jazz Festival. It was so much fun.
Wow.
The people there, I missed that live audience because they just made noise out in the sunshine, and oh, that was so much fun.
Well, you know when we come back, you're coming back.
I'm coming back with you though. Please let me come back with him, please.
You ain't got to say no please. Okay, we doing it. We doing it. We just put it out there.
Because they're not ready for the jazz. When we did our jazz stag, man, it was another level that I haven't had in a long time. I just can't wait.
People better buckle up. They ain't ready.
Because when you start going, I'm like, wait for me.
Hey, I want to go to we only got a couple of minutes, so I want to go to a couple of quick questions from our viewers.
Sure.
Let's take a question from Post-Genre Media. The question is, what was it like playing the legendary Mahalia Jackson in Selma?
It was amazing to do that role. Ava DuVernay saw me do I did an event for Black Men of Hollywood at Tyler Perry's house. Mm-hmm. And I sang a song in this really tight dress. It was amazing, honey.
Uh-oh.
And
Stop it. Stop.
And anyway, everyone loved the song that I chose, and Ava DuVernay and David Oyelowo kept staring at me, and they're like, and I was like, why are they staring at me? But they were like, can you act? And I said, yeah, I love to act. And then next thing you know, I got an audition to be Mahalia, and I came in and sang all loud. And she said, but what if it's really quiet and and Martin calls you to wake up out the blue? You have to wake up. Can you sing it softer? And so I did. And then I said all the lines and everything, and I ended up getting the part. And it was amazing. It was amazing work with Ava and around all these wonderful actors playing historic figures. And you know, it was, and David even spoke the part. He didn't have to be there, but he stayed there to speak the part. Yeah. And it made it even more special. My voice kind of cracked a little bit, and
it was awesome.
It made it more emotional. She kept that, and I wanted it real. So we had a wonderful time. I wish I could have performed that even more to more audiences, but I didn't when I went on tour that year.
Well, you're just going to have to make some more movies. Let's see. We're going to take a question from Henry. Henry's question is, what was the process behind the song Pieces of Me?
Oh, Pieces of Me, I was having a really bad day. And
it
was like I was multitasking like women do. We're all these things, and then we have to narrow it down, and I have to sing a song that I haven't written yet. So now I have to think after doing all the cooking, the cleaning, the calling, the management, you know, just being a woman. And it was a woman kind of day. And Claude Kelly and Chuck Harmony, we came up with the Pieces of Me, that women can be all these wonderful things and still get it done. So that's the process behind Pieces of Me. It started with me having a rough day. And a beautiful song emerged because of it.
Sure enough. Let's see. Post-Genre Media again. What was it like working with brother Raphael Sadiq?
Oh, Raphael Sadiq. He's amazing.
Yes,
and
he is.
He trusted me a lot, and he let me be in the studio by myself. But I've been a fan of his forever. He was one of the first people to share his stage with me. I mean, share his stage and have me on it. And
Yeah.
Back when he did House of Blues, and it was D'Angelo and all these great artists there, and he let me be on the stage with them. And years later, I asked him to work with me, and he wrote 2 incredible songs on my Turn Me Loose album, and that's when I was able to work with him. He's phenomenal, very low key, study music like you and I.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Yep.
And his playing is ridiculous.
Oh.
He loved quartet music. I love watching. He would show me all these quartet videos. That was fun. But he's amazing. He's a great listener and a great studier.
Yes.
Like one of my
Yes, he
favorite
is.
producers. Love him. He's
Bad,
Oakland,
bad,
baby.
bad.
Oakland.
Yeah. Man, what's with y'all, man? Oakland
But
in the
he's from,
house,
his
boy.
family's from Louisiana too. So he had
Oh,
that same
wow.
thing. Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
I didn't know either until we talked. He said, yeah,
Wow.
my folks from
Five,
Louisiana.
510 in the house. Let's see. Bianca has actually. This will probably be our last question of the show, but this looks like a good one. Bianca, I love the contrast between the lyrics and the video clip of "I Blame You." What is the true meaning behind it?
I Blame You was at a time when I was focusing inward on my weight and my body, and showing people that I'm more than just the singer that I am. So the video portion of it was me after taking dance classes and learning how to walk again, meaning walk like mm. I wanted to show that part of myself to people,
Right.
because I really loved dancing when I was younger. And I would do all the MJ moves. I knew all the Thriller, but people thought I just decided, oh, I'm going to try to be like Beyonce. No, my mom has videos of me dancing. I was a really good dancer, but I stopped doing it out of fear that I wasn't good enough. So I decided to sing. So I wanted to show people that I knew that as well. And I was being healthier. And I loved it. I love being healthy. But I Blame You came about was I wanted to have a song that was up tempo on the album, but reminded me of Michael Jackson, because I love that Rock With You was my song.
Yes.
People think
Yes.
it's from Beyonce's song Love on Top, but it's not. It came from me listening to MJ pretty much all of my life. And I love that energy. And it had the same energy as Love on Top, which is where her version comes from, is the love for Michael Jackson. So it kind of all went together. They didn't want the scat part in it. And I said, well, why don't y'all leave and just give me a click track? And I added a whole scat line to it. And basically, when they came back, they were like, oh, that's dope. I said, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have to add my jazz in there. You know, it can't all just be R&B and pop. So I had to add the jazz portion of it, and that's where it came from. But I Blame You is basically, there's nobody I was blaming at the time, like, for making me happy. But after that, I found my husband. So I guess it all worked out.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Oh, Ledisi, you are the salt of the earth.
Man, listen.
I love you deeply,
you make the
friend.
rumble, my friend. Rumble. Thanks for being a great mentor, a great teacher, and doing this platform like this. It really is going to help a lot of people, remind them of what we do and how important it is. It is important. Music is important. All of our music.
Thank you for continuing to be the great person and premier musician. You know, you are a singer, but you're a musician. You got it all in there, man. Y'all better pay attention to
Let them know singers and musicians. Singers and musicians.
Well, you are.
He said, I don't know about her, but you.
You cool.
Well, thank you, Christian. That means the world for me. I love you, brother.
I love you too. And hey, I'm going to FaceTime you real quick after we're done, because I got to tell you that story.
I gotta hear it. You have to tell me.
I'm gonna hook you up.
In
the meantime, everybody, thank you so much for joining me this week on Live Wax with Christian McBride. And give a big round of applause to Ledisi. Oh man, she's just so awesome. And I will see y'all again next Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, y'all be cool. Take care of yourselves and each other. All right? Be cool, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.